Hello and welcome to my home beauty salon. I'm Shodan and today I'm going to be dyeing my hair while telling stories from high school. Super fun. So first things first, sexy pink gloves. Totally for hair dye, not for fisting. Oh god, my hands are too sweaty. Oh god, it feels so gross in there. Oh, sorry, it's like really hot in my studio, so if you start to see like sweat drops coming down my face, it's cause I'm sweating. Oh my god, it shouldn't take this long to put on a glove. Alright, one glove down. Let's get the other one going. So, a little bit of background. I was inspired to do this video by Ginny D, who I follow because she's hilarious and amazing, and she did a video recently where she did her jester makeup while telling stories from high school, and I was like, oh man, that's awesome, I want to do something like that, and I love doing makeup, but I didn't start wearing makeup until college, so I thought dyeing my hair would be a better idea. I started dyeing my own hair when I was like 14, I think, and while I'm definitely not a beauty professional now, I have gotten a lot better at it. Just like makeup also, when I first started doing it, it looked so bad. So anyway, now that I have my gloves, give my hair a quick comb. Oh yeah, I got a haircut since the last time you saw me because I just got tired of having all that hair and I was never using it, so here we are. And this is so much easier to put under wigs. Yeah, it's great. I got it cut and colored for my Ghost in the Shell cosplay, so I'm gonna do pretty similar colors now. I'm gonna do like a lighter bluish lavender on the bottom and then like a dark purple blue on the top to blend into my roots. First thing you gotta know about me in high school was that I was a fucking weirdo. I was in no way the person you see here today, except that I was still very goth, but I mean only in the sense that I wore Hot Topic and listened to, well, okay, I listened to nu metal. I didn't actually listen to goth music, and just was very strange and liked, you know, to talk about blood and scare the crap out of my poor parents. And no, they're great. They're supportive. So yeah, I was not hot. I was not attractive. I had like 3 boyfriends in high school, but 2 of those were in senior year, and in between them there was literally nobody. It's got my hair dye mixture from last time. I think this one came out a little dark, so I'm gonna lighten it a little bit. So, first story I want to tell from high school. If you were to like put me in a Mean Girls cafeteria, I was definitely, wait, is this moldy? No, I think it just fermented a little bit. Weird. Okay, I think that's fine. So if you were to put me in a Mean Girls cafeteria, I would definitely be sitting with, actually I probably would be Janice Ian, sitting over at the Art Freaks table. That was like me to a T. Speaking of which, was my art teacher's name, Mr. T. Short for something, but you know, to avoid doxing him, I'm not gonna say what it was. Ooh, pretty color. And I had him for the first time in sophomore year, and for Art 2, I think, and I just like loved his class, and by senior year I had him for 3 out of 6 of my school periods, which was that poor man put up with so much. First thing I'm gonna do with the hair, just kind of comb it over. And like, also a disclaimer that like I said, I'm not a beauty professional. I have friends who are, and I'm sure that they're gonna yell at me for making this video. So don't take anything I'm doing as like instructional on how to do your hair. This is just how I do mine. And like, definitely don't lighten your hair at home. You'll notice that I'm not doing that. I'm just doing dye, because the last time I lightened my hair myself, it was a disaster, and it was a very expensive disaster to fix. I may or may not know what I'm doing, actually. I'm gonna throw some more blue in here because like I definitely like blue more than purple. So yeah, anyway, art class with the aforementioned Mr. T. I basically just got to do whatever I wanted in his class. Like he basically took the attitude of like, you know, there were the kids who were there because they had to have the elective, and then there were kids who were there because they really liked art. And like, if you were one of the latter where you just like really were into doing art, like he would give out assignments, but like as long as you were getting some work done, he didn't really care what you did. So I was just in there drawing and making weird shit all the time. I don't know, my art has changed a lot since then, and I don't paint anymore because I went to art school and therefore I fucking hate it now. But yeah, we developed a kind of like very like, crap, this might be too dark. Oh well, we'll go with it, and then my hair will just be darker blue. That's fine. And then it'll be purple on top. So, in his class, there were several incidents of hilarity. Shit, am I doing this wrong? Fuck it, I'm just gonna do this a different way. Okay, here we go. It's on my hair now, there's no going back. But me and my friends were all in his class together for several of those classes. And we were just like playing pranks on each other and playing pranks on him constantly. If you fell asleep in his class, he would start like stacking stuff on top of your head. And he also was like an expert at getting kick me signs onto people's backs. Like he would write something on a post-it note and then like attach tape to it and then like flick it and it would stick to your shirt. And sometimes I would go home from his class and I'd have like 5 to 10 notes on my back, and it was considered like a mark of serious pride if you could get one on his back, which I did a few times, and it was great. One time, I think this was actually freshman year of high school. Oh, I also forgot to mention that high school for me was 10 years ago. So my memories on these things are a little fuzzy. Not to, date myself or anything, but I'm 27, whatever. Fight me. But yeah, freshman year, I did a painting of, I had a new watercolor set and I did a painting of a skull. I'm sure I just got like reference off of Google Images or something. Like a Technicolor skull, like big, ooh, spooky. And just like some stuff around it and everything. And every year at the end of the year, they had an assembly where they'd do like a little like slideshow of everybody's art from all the different classes. Like there was like photography and art and sculpture and all that. And I think there might have been some debate because mine had been like my skull painting had been like, I don't know, it was in like a school art show or something, and like there was a little bit of debate of like, is this like too grimdark to put in this like assembly? But they did it anyway, and I was in the auditorium when they were doing the assembly because it was required. And when my picture came up, there was an audible gasp from the audience where everybody was just like quietly, and then there's like some like nice, like it was like Wilco or something playing over the slideshow, and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a picture of a water fountain, blah blah, and then just like bam, and it's like which me being a little tiny edgelord as I was like great, good, awesome, I have shocked and provoked as was my intention. In junior year, I did a still from the 9 Inch Nails video for Closer. That was all stippling, which is when you take a pen and you just go like that, and you can make like different what they call values, different shades of gray and black. It took me a very long time and probably permanently damaged my eyesight, but I was entered into a few contests with that piece, including some kind of district one, and I won a Best in Show prize. Wait, no, that was a different art show. Okay, it was entered into like a local gallery high school student art show, as well as a district thing. And at the district thing, there was like a luncheon where they had like awards, and I won some art bullshit, and I got a $50 gift card, like one of those Visa gift certificates. And guess what I bought with it? Was my first vibrator. So thanks for that for 16-year-old me. That was great. But actually most of my art stuff is not really that interesting. The more interesting stuff about me in high school was all the, like, I wouldn't say that, I definitely was not cool. Like, there were people who thought I was cool, but they were not cool. I was mostly friends with, like, the band nerds. Like, my best friend was a band nerd who was also a weird little goth. And other art nerds, and then there was, like, some drama kids and some choir kids. Anybody who did, like, creative kind of stuff. And, like, of course, jocks were, like, the enemy. It didn't help that I went to high school in 2008 in California, where there was a big Mormon population in my school. A lot of those kids were like jocks, and they would bully the Gay Straight Alliance kids like me because I was a little baby queer. I wasn't like getting into fights and stuff, but there were a few occasions where I would like slowly bide my time and pick the right moment to make my voice heard. And one of which was, there was this kid in my freshman year science class who, again, saying how old I am, sat next to the overhead projector And the teacher would start off class. God, I'm itchy. Fuck. No, comb. Okay. The teacher would always start off class by like putting up some notes for us to copy, and then she would like go and fuck off and do whatever it is teachers do. And this kid would just like sit there and just like turn off the projector just over and over again just to be annoying. And I, you know, was eventually just like, I liked that teacher, and like I definitely was not a good student, but I liked that teacher, which mattered to me. And would be like, hey, fucking stop, like, can you stop that? It's really annoying, like, fucking quit it. And then, you know, he wouldn't, so it just slowly got, you know, more and more, like, kind of ramped up. And, like, one day, I had, like, told him a bunch of times, like, hey, stop, hey, stop, hey, stop. And he did it again, so I was just like, and I got up, and I went, and I turned it back on, and then I took off my shoe. I was wearing, like, those, like, chunky-ass, like, skater shoes, but they weren't, like, heavy. They were like maybe half a pound each. And I just whacked him across the face with it. Not like hard, but just kind of a and sat back down, and everybody in the class laughed at him so hard and was like, all right, you know, Shodan, like good one, fuck that kid. And he was like, what the fuck? And like I was, you know, trying to maintain my cool and not laugh my ass off at him, but it was hard because he got so mad. And it kind of fucking worked. Like, everybody thought he was a fucking dumbass for, like, the rest of the year. And, like, my teacher was like, so I heard that you hit this kid in the face with your shoe. Like, maybe don't do that. And I was like, okay, probably won't need to again. And another time, I spent the entire year in Spanish class being sat next to this fucking moron football player who just was constantly bothering everybody and hitting on this one girl and making her super uncomfortable and, like, just being so loud and obnoxious. And I really liked Spanish, and I wanted to keep learning, and just fucking hated this kid. But I didn't have any friends in that class to back me up, so I didn't say anything to him all year until the last day during the final, when he's doing his usual shit and I'm trying to take the final, and he sits behind me, and I just turn around and I go, shut the fuck up! And like, he looked so shocked, like just fucking like jaw on the floor, like it was like the desk had turned around and spoken to him, and he was just like, wow, like haven't heard anything from you all year. And I'm just like, shut up! I don't care! Shut up! You're talking all the time! You're like ruining my chance to get to my freaking education here. Just shut the fuck up! And he was like, I don't remember how that interaction ended, but it, again, was, you know, worked out well for me, I guess. There was plenty of times like that where I tried to do stuff like that, and it did not work out well for me, but you know, that's not as fun of a story to tell. So, you know, bide your time. It'll pay off. I did get detention and suspensions a few times. Not because I was like a delinquent, like I still have never smoked weed, and like I wasn't like, you know, I don't know, what the hell do kids even get in trouble for at school? Like, I guess skipping class, which I did a lot, but I would just like skip my class and go to art class instead, and like how are they going to know that I'm not in that class? So I didn't really get in trouble for it. But I was a fucking awful student. I barely graduated because I just never did homework all through grade school. Hang on, let me check the back of my head. I'm like basically not paying attention to what I'm doing at all. It looks fine. Itchy. There we go. Yeah, I just never did homework. And like in like 4th grade, I had a friend who was just like, you know, you could just not do your homework. And I was like, and I just basically never did again until college when I actually gave a shit about what I was studying. So I got punished for that a few times, but I also got a bunch of detentions for like really stupid reasons. Like one time it was because I kicked open a door with my foot. Like it had like one of those press bars, and I was like, whatcha? And like it's some teacher saw it or something and like came over and yelled at me, and I got in trouble and I got a detention, which was fucking dumb. And another time it was for sitting on a desk, which apparently was not okay. I guess I should just start doing the roots here because I've got most of the light parts pretty much covered. Oh yeah, I got a detention because I went to the bathroom without permission on Day of Silence because I had a homophobic asshole math teacher who was constantly at my fucking throat about all kinds of shit. And just like would not acknowledge, because like on Day of Silence you get a little card that explains like what you're doing and why you're staying silent, and like you basically don't talk for the whole day. And like he would not, he was like, if she needs something, she needs to ask for it. And I was like trying to ask to go to the bathroom. I later found out that you can just go. Like legally they have to let you go to the bathroom whenever you need to. and like you don't gotta ask or explain yourself or nothing. They don't want you to know that. So I got a detention for that. And another time I yawned really loudly in his class because I was tired. I just, you know, I guess it was an excessively loud yawn and he thought I was making fun of him, so detention. Fucking dumb. But yeah, I think the only time I got an in-school suspension because I didn't do homework or something, so I had to go into school and then I just drew for the whole day because they gave me like a workbook to do and I finished it very quickly. It was very boring. Detention was a lot more fun depending on which teacher you got. Yeah, I was a bad student. Let's just leave it at that. I got A's in art all the time. I think I did okay in English because I was, you know, I was naturally very good at that. Fail everything else. And in senior year I had, maybe it was junior year, I don't remember. I had a history teacher that I didn't like because the way he taught, he would just like give you a printout from a book and be like, read this and make notes on it. And I thought that was dumb and I really like history. So I just decided that I was like not gonna participate in his class and I would just get there and go to sleep on my desk. And he would wake me up before, like, a lot of the time I would wake up naturally before the bell rang, and then, you know, would just leave, and I knew that teacher fucking hated me, and for me it wasn't personal, but, like, I can imagine, like, you're trying to do your damn job, and there's some little snot-nosed freaking trip pants falling asleep every day. But one time, I woke up, and it was 4 o'clock, which was about an hour after school had ended. The room was dark, and there was nobody there. The whole campus was basically empty. He had just fucking left me there asleep in class, which is like way illegal to do. Like definitely would have gotten in a lot of trouble if I reported him, but I was like, all right, you know, that's fair. I can't really get too mad at him for that. I know I said at the beginning of the video to like that this is like not how you should be doing your hair, but especially not because I am not paying attention to what I'm doing at all. I'm too busy talking to the camera and I'm not good at talking and doing other stuff. So this is probably going to look hilarious, but that's okay. A big part of having dyed hair is just learning to fucking accept what the results are because you can't always do anything about it. I'm sorry that there's no like very sexy stories about high school. I was horrendously ugly. I had horrible acne all over most of my body. Like I had boyfriends, but they were people I met outside of school. I don't know, my first boyfriend I met when I was in 8th grade, and he was a grade above me, even though he was 3 years older than me, which was kind of strange. I don't know, that wasn't a particularly sexy relationship. I was really mean to him, and he liked me for reasons. We're still friends, which is nice. I'm not friends with... We don't need to talk about that. Hey, sweetheart?
Yeah?
Can you grab the purple dye out of the room and bring it to me?
The what?
The purple dye out of the bathroom cabinet?
Okay.
Thank you. Oh my god, I totally forgot that I came out as a lesbian in high school. Wow. Yeah, that's quite a story. So, I thought I was gay for a while. Like, first I was like, oh, I'm bisexual. Like, that's cool. I'm bisexual just like everybody else is because we're all on MySpace and that's the thing now. But, after I broke up with my first boyfriend, I was just kind of like, I think I might be, like, real gay, actually, just because I had, like, I don't know, like, doing things with him I was just like not super interested in because I was too young, but I thought it was because I was not into men. So when I was 14, I came out as a lesbian, and like I told my parents because like I thought they would be okay with it because like they had friends who were gay and everything, so it didn't really seem like that big of an issue. And their response was, we'd be okay with it if you were, but we're pretty sure that you're not. And you know, I got like so irate about it. I was just like, you don't understand me, like you just blah 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 blah. They were right. You know, I figured that out maybe a year later. God, it seemed like a long time at the time, but now I'm just kind of like, yeah, that was like a phase for like a year. Like it actually was just a phase. Oh no. The whole goth thing though, definitely not a phase. I'm stuck like this. I can't change. So, yeah, I thought I was gay for a little while, developed a crush on my best friend, because at the time I did not know the difference between having friendly affection and being in love with somebody. Actually, that happened a few times with several different best friends, but I learned after a while. My best friend and I, we were very weird kids together. We had met in 6th grade, but we didn't become super close until high school. And, you know, we did the usual stuff. We ate lunch together every day. We had a couple classes together, but not many. Oh, we'd go to, like, metal shows in Walnut Creek, California together. Like, ooh, like the, you know, the, like, kiddie metal shows with the kiddie metal bands with the kids from the other high schools, and we thought we were so cool. I didn't like metal then. I still don't now. But one time, I don't even remember how this started. I think we were just, like, out one day on a weekend, and we were, like, I don't know, at some store, and we're like, ha, they got, like, little toy handcuffs. Like, that's funny. Like, because we're like, haha, BDSM, because I don't remember how I knew that BDSM was a thing, but I had been on the internet since I was 11, so probably I saw it around there, and we were both, like, interested and curious about it. And we bought the toy handcuffs, and we walked home handcuffed together. We were like, haha, this is so funny. We're gonna, like, you know, walk around town handcuffed, and how funny. And then we just kept doing it for, like, 2 weeks. Like, we'd walk around together handcuffed at school, and which definitely did not help the whole, oh, Shodan and her best friend are totally gay for each other thing, which I was like, oh, yes, gosh, I sure wish we were, but she was like, no, we're not. We're just best friends and being weird together. Yeah, I feel like that probably should have been a bigger deal than it was. Like, I don't remember if we ever got in any kind of trouble for it, or if our parents had anything to say about it. I think they were just kind of like, at that point, they were just so, like, just beaten down by how fucking weird we were. And especially because, like, we both had older siblings that had been, like, way more delinquents, so by the time we came around, it was just kind of like, just don't do drugs, I don't fucking care, yeah, dye your hair, whatever, don't care. And, yeah, I think it just stopped because eventually we were just kind of like, alright, I guess we're kind of done with this. I feel like there should be more funny, weird stories about stuff we did together, but we mostly just, like, had our little inside jokes and stuff. Oh, my favorite of which I still actually use was from my anatomy class, which I took for drawing, even though I was so bad at science, and I failed, of course, where we dissected cats. And on the class whiteboard on either side of the board, there was a schedule for both classes. And for, like, the biology class, it was like, oh, blah, 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 we're going to be watching this, we're going to be reading this. And one day I came in, and the anatomy class for Friday, it said, like, you know, oh, like, study this, study this, study this. And then on Friday, it just said cats in big letters, you know, implying that's the day that we're going to start dissecting the cats, which, okay, cool. No further explanation needed. But I came in the next day, and somebody had written an exclamation point and put the musical underneath it, which I thought was the funniest fucking thing in the world. And I, like, went and told my best friend about it after that at lunch and just, like, couldn't stop giggling about it, like, way later in the day. So we decided that a Cats the Musical was, like, a thing that you, like, remember later and it makes you laugh. Like, if you see, like, nowadays it'd be like, oh, I saw, like, a funny meme today and I can't stop laughing about it, like, all day. I just keep thinking of it. So I still try to use that phrase, although if you start using it now that I've explained it, it might weird me out a little bit because nobody else says it except me and, like, my boyfriend, and I don't really talk to that girl anymore, but probably she still would. Continuing down the road of Shodan was a fucking weirdo in high school, was I could not just sit and listen in class. So most of the time I'd be drawing in class, just, like, working on whatever piece of art I was working on in theory for art class, but it was just drawing all the time. Except when I got a Air Force jacket secondhand and decided to make it into my, like, suburban punk jacket, you know, because that was a thing. And started, like, embroidering it because I knew how to sew from my mom, who's a quilter. And just started, like, embroidering band logos and, like, you know, little, like, fun slogans and stuff on it. I'm probably going to end up with dye all over my forehead here. Just kind of go with it. And for some reason, teachers thought that was, like, the weirdest fucking thing in the world, that I was sitting there literally, like, with a needle and thread sewing in their class. A couple of them would get mad at me for it and be like, can you, like, the drawing, whatever, but, like, this is just, like, too weird and distracting. But for the most part, they were just kind of like, that's kind of cool, I guess, like, whatever. Like I said, I eventually wore them down so much that they just, like, did not care what I was doing anymore. Although I had, okay, this was in middle school, but, oh god, yep, that's a lot of hair dye on my forehead. oh well. It comes off with rubbing alcohol, if you didn't know that. But if you have any cuts on your skin, don't do that. Okay, now my forehead's red instead of blue and purple. Fine, cool, whatever, great. Yeah, I had a sketchbook that I worked in, just doodling, drawing. You know, I was still really learning to draw in middle school, so I spent a lot of time copying photos and tracing stuff, which is how you can learn to draw if you want to learn. Just trace a bunch of stuff. Just don't try to pass it off as your own art, because that's bad. But one time I had a history teacher who was Mormon, who was a big pain in the ass. She wasn't like the worst, but she was Mormon. And I was, you know, as mentioned, a baby queer. And she got annoyed at me for drawing in her class and came over and was like, I'm taking this sketchbook, you're always drawing in it, and like, I'm confiscating this. So she takes it, and I'm just like, whatever. And I get out one of my class notebooks and just start drawing in that instead. What the fuck ever. But she looked through it, and I got in trouble because I had drawn lesbian pornography in my sketchbook. I probably had drawn, like, I don't know, my guy online avatar kissing somebody else's guy online avatar or something. So I got called to the principal's office, and they called my parents, and they made a whole big deal out of it. And I was like, yeah, I'm into girls. Like, so fucking what? You gonna fight me about it? Like, it's not illegal. This is California, for fuck's sake. And my parents did not punish me. They were just like, you know, maybe don't do that at school. It's like, okay, whatever. And because, yeah, it wasn't like I was drawing anything explicit. It was like maybe a smooch. Real fucking dumb. But, you know, God forbid there be any homosexuality in California where I lived. One of the funniest incidents I had in high school was, so back then, memes were still kind of an underground thing, and I was regrettably very into 4chan, which was blocked on the school computers, as well it should have been, and but Encyclopedia Dramatica was not, so I would just go on there and look at meme pages whenever I had like school computer lab time and I'd like finish whatever work or didn't feel like doing it. So I would just be sitting there looking at memes and like laughing to myself for tens of minutes, I'm sure. And one time I was sitting in art class. It must have been like an hour or so after I had been in the computer lab. And I come and get, somebody comes and they pull me out of class. And they're like,
You tried to look at this pornography website 20 times in 2 minutes last period.
And I was just like they said it pretty similar to that, and I was like, did you hear the sentence you just said? Because that doesn't make any sense. It's not like I'm like, let me see the porno! Like, pressing refresh over and over again, trying to access this. And, like, they had printed out the URL of the website, and it, like, literally said, like, banner.popup.blah, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this is a pop-up ad. Like, you're the IT administrator. Like, how do you not know that? Like, horrified. Not that I knew anything about computers, really. I just knew about the internet, which was quite something back then. And he was like,
Well, we'll have to look into that, but blah, 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 blah.
I might have ended up getting detention. I don't remember what came of it. But, like, he's standing there, and he's got this assistant who had, like, graduated, like, a year or so before, who I had once kicked in the nuts because he called me the D word on Day of Silence. So, can't say anything to retort, so use my legs. And he's looking all smug, so I think it had been like, he knew it was me because I was logged in and was like, oh yeah, this bitch, trying to get me in trouble for looking at pornography. Also, my other argument was like, I am a girl, I am in high school, I am actively in my high school in the computer lab. Like, do you think, A, I'm like crazy horny enough I gotta look at porno at school, and like, B, I'm dumb enough to look at porno at school? Like, of course I looked at porn back then, everybody did, but like, I'm not gonna do it at fucking school. Like, what's the point? I'm just gonna sit there like, oh yeah, with like all the rest of the computers around me and like the teacher like, I need PowerPoint. Like, no, that's not a thing. Which isn't to say that girls can't be perverts like that, I guess, but I definitely was not. Okay, I think I have this pretty well covered. I'm gonna go and make sure that I have dyed everything evenly because I can't actually really see where I'm sitting. But I'll be back to rinse in a little bit. Thanks for listening to my hilarious high school stories. Time for the authentic high school hair dye experience. Rinsing in the bathtub. Sorry if this is loud. Cool. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, telling stories about high school. High school itself wasn't fun. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Middle school was way worse. But I don't know, also it was a long time ago, so maybe I just don't remember the bad stuff. Alright. Well, I can already see that that is quite blue. Let's give this a blow dry just to see if it's actually as dark as it looks. And you like my bathtub war paint I got on my face? Alright. Alright, I think that is good. Cool. Pretty nice shade of blue, and you can kind of see the purple in my roots. Kinda. Managed to get pretty even coverage even though I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Well, okay, there's a couple of spots that are missing. That's fine, I'll touch them up. So thanks for listening. That was really fun. Let me know if you want me to do more story time stuff like this. I have like stories from college or from conventions, from photo shoots, from, I don't know, lots of stuff, interesting stuff. I lead an interesting life, what can I say? Tell me in the comments what you thought of this video. Did I sound like a total loser? Were you horrified by how I did my hair? Let me know. Hit the subscribe button, click like, leave me a comment. I'm trying out this whole YouTube thing and it's really fun to do, so I want to keep doing it and I need your support. And check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Shodan. I publish new photo sets and videos every week. Comics, blogs, sneak peeks, Discord, Snapchat, all that good stuff. Thanks, bye! Oh god, it's so hot.